The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and regret, a sharp sting that clung to Anna's nose as she blinked awake. Her head throbbed like a drum, each pulse a reminder of the car crash that stole 3 months of her life. She was 28, a paramedic who'd seen her share of blood and chaos, but lying in that stiff bed, she felt like a stranger in her own skin. The beep of the monitor was a metronome to her confusion, its rhythm steady but cold. Outside, the Virginia sunrise painted the sky in hues of peach and gold, but the light felt distant, like it belonged to someone else's story. Her sister Clara sat by the bed, her eyes red-rimmed, clutching a crumpled tissue. "Anna, you're back," she whispered, voice cracking like dry leaves. Anna tried to speak, but her throat was sandpaper, her words a rasp. "What happened?" The question hung heavy, unanswered, as Clara's gaze darted to the floor. The truth came in fragments, sharp and jagged. A drunk driver. A shattered ambulance. A coma that stretched from summer to fall. Anna's hands trembled as she touched the scar on her temple. A thin, angry line. She'd been saving lives when hers nearly ended. But there was something else, something Clara wasn't saying. Anna felt it in the pause, the way her sister's fingers twitched. "There's someone here," Clara finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "She's been coming every day." Anna's heart stuttered. "Who?" she croaked, her mind grasping at shadows. Clara hesitated, then dropped the name like a stone. "Lena. Lena." The name was a fist to Anna's chest, dragging her back to high school in this small, suffocating town of Willow Creek. Lena Harper, the girl who'd made her life hell. The artist with sharp eyes and sharper words, who'd mocked Anna's tomboyish clothes, her quiet demeanor, her everything. Lena, who'd stood at the center of the popular crowd, her laughter a blade that cut Anna down in the hallways. Anna's stomach churned. Why would she be here? The door creaked open and there she was. Lena, 29 now, her long black curls spilling over a paint-splattered sweater. Her face was softer than Anna remembered, but those green eyes still held a spark that could burn. She froze in the doorway, clutching a sketchbook like a shield. The air thickened, heavy with the weight of a decade unspoken. "Anna," Lena said, her voice low, almost breaking. "You're awake." Anna's jaw tightened. "Why are you here?" The words came out harsher than she meant, but the hurt was fresh, raw like a wound reopened. Lena flinched, her fingers tightening on the sketchbook. I had to see you," she said, stepping closer. The scent of her lavender perfume mixed with the hospital's sterile tang, disorienting Anna. "I needed to know you were okay." "Okay." Anna's laugh was brittle, a cracked thing. "You hated me, Lena. You made my life miserable. Why the hell do you care now?" Lena's eyes glistened, but she didn't look away. "I was a kid, Anna. A stupid, cruel kid. I'm not that person anymore." Her voice trembled, a note of desperation threading through it. "I've been here every day for 3 months, waiting for you to wake up." Anna's head spun. The room felt too small, the air too thin. She wanted to scream, to shove Lena out, to erase the past. But there was something in Lena's gaze, something raw, unguarded, that made Anna's chest ache in a way she didn't understand. She turned her head to the window, the sunrise blurring through unshed tears. "Get out," she whispered. Lena stood there, motionless, her breath hitching like she'd been slapped. Then slowly, she set the sketchbook on the bedside table and left, the door clicking shut behind her. Anna's fingers brushed the sketchbook's worn cover, her heart pounding. She didn't open it. Not yet. The next day, Clara brought coffee, its bitter warmth grounding Anna as she sat up in bed. "She's not lying," Clara said, her voice gentle but firm. "Lena's been here every day. She'd sit by you, talk to you, even when the doctor said you might not hear." Anna's throat tightened. She didn't want to believe it, didn't want to feel the tug of curiosity, of something softer beneath her anger. She opened the sketchbook. Inside were drawings, dozens of them. Her ambulance, crumpled but rendered with care. The Willow Creek Diner, its neon sign glowing in pencil strokes. And then Anna herself, sleeping in this very bed. Her face peaceful in a way it never was awake. The sketches were intimate, vulnerable, each line trembling with emotion. At the bottom of one page in Lena's looping handwriting, "I'm sorry. I wish I could take it back." Anna's breath caught, a sob she didn't expect. The sketches were a confession, a bridge across years of pain. But the anger still burned, a fire in her chest. How could she forgive the girl who'd broken her? And why, after all this time, did Lena care so much? By the time Anna was discharged, the questions gnawed at her. She moved back to her small apartment, the familiar creak of the floorboards a comfort. But Lena's presence lingered, a ghost in the sketches Anna couldn't stop flipping through. One evening her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Can we talk?" "It's Lena." Anna stared at the screen, her thumb hovering over the reply button, her heart a battlefield of rage and something dangerously close to hope. Anna's apartment smelled of old wood and the faint tang of her morning coffee, now cold in a chipped mug on the counter. The sketchbook lay open on her couch, Lena's drawing staring up at her like a challenge. She hadn't replied to the text. Not yet. Her fingers itched to type something, anger maybe or a cold dismissal, but every time she tried, her mind snagged on the memory of Lena's trembling voice in the hospital, the way her eyes had held something Anna couldn't name. Outside, Willow Creek was waking up, the hum of early traffic mingling with the chirp of sparrows. Anna pulled on her leather jacket, the one she'd worn since her paramedic days, and stepped onto the porch. The autumn air was crisp, biting at her cheeks, grounding her. She needed to move, to think, to drown out the noise in her head. She walked toward the diner, its neon sign flickering in the dawn light, a beacon of familiarity in a world that felt upside down. The bell above the door jingled as she entered, the scent of bacon grease and syrup wrapping around her like a hug. She slid into a booth, the vinyl creaking under her weight. The waitress, Marla, a woman in her 50s with a smoker's rasp, poured her coffee without asking. "Good to see you back, Anna," she said, her smile warm but cautious, like she knew the weight Anna carried. Anna nodded, her gaze drifting to the window. Across the street, the art gallery's sign caught her eye. Harper's Haven. Lena's gallery. Of course. Anna's stomach twisted. She'd avoided that place for years, ever since Lena's name started appearing in local papers for her raw emotional exhibits. The girl who'd once laughed at Anna's worn sneakers now painted stories that made people cry. It didn't make sense. "Mind if I join you?" The voice was soft, hesitant but unmistakable. Anna's head snapped up. Lena stood there, a takeout coffee in one hand, her other tucked into the pocket of a faded denim jacket. Her curls were loose, framing her face, and her eyes held that same spark, part fire, part fear. Anna's first instinct was to say no, to tell her to leave. But the diner was public, neutral ground, and something in Lena's posture, hunched, almost vulnerable, made Anna pause. "Fine," she muttered, gesturing to the seat across from her. Lena slid in, the air between them thick with unspoken history. "I didn't mean to ambush you," Lena said, her fingers tracing the rim of her cup. "I just saw you through the window." Her voice was low, like she was afraid of breaking something fragile. Anna didn't respond, just sipped her coffee, letting the silence stretch. The clatter of plates and the hum of conversation filled the space, but it couldn't drown out the tension. "Why now?" Anna finally asked, her voice sharp, cutting through the noise. "Why do you care now, after all these years?" Her hands clenched under the table, nails digging into her palms. She could still hear Lena's laughter from high school, the way it echoed in the locker room when Anna's crush on a girl was accidentally exposed. Lena had been there, smirking, while Anna's world crumbled. Lena's gaze dropped to her coffee, her shoulders sagging. "I was awful," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I was scared, Anna. Scared of who I was, of what I felt. I took it out on you because you were brave in a way I wasn't." She looked up, her eyes glistening. "I liked you back then. A lot. And I hated myself for it." The words hit Anna like a punch, stealing her breath. She leaned back, the vinyl squeaking, her mind racing. "You're lying." she said, but her voice wavered, betraying her. Lena shook her head, her expression raw, unguarded. I'm not. I was a coward and I hurt you. I've spent years trying to make up for it, even if you didn't know. Anna's chest ached, a mix of anger and something softer, more dangerous. She wanted to believe Lena, wanted to let the words sink in, but the scars of high school ran deep. You don't get to just say that and expect me to forget, she said, her voice cracking. You broke me, Lena. I know, Lena whispered, a tear slipping down her cheek. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I needed you to know. She stood, her chair scraping against the floor, and left her coffee untouched. I'll leave you alone now. Anna watched her go, the bell jingling as the door swung shut. Her coffee was cold now, the diner's warmth fading. She felt hollow, like the crash had taken more than her memories. It had left her heart exposed, raw, and unsure. That night, she opened the sketchbook again, tracing the lines of her own face in Lena's drawings. Each stroke felt like a confession, a plea. She didn't sleep. The next morning, Anna found herself outside Harper's Haven. The gallery was quiet, its windows reflecting the gray October sky. She didn't know why she was there, only that her feet had carried her. Inside, Lena's paintings lined the walls, vibrant, chaotic, full of emotion. One caught her eye. A canvas of two figures, blurred but unmistakable, standing on a hill at sunrise. The colors screamed longing, regret, hope. Anna's breath hitched. She didn't hear Lena approach until she spoke. That's us, Lena said softly, standing behind her. Or what I wished we could have been. Anna turned, their eyes meeting, and for the first time, she saw Lena not as the girl who'd hurt her, but as someone who'd been hurting too. The gallery smelled of turpentine and cedar, a sharp contrast to the crisp air outside. Anna stood frozen in front of Lena's painting, the two blurred figures on the canvas burning into her mind. The sunrise in the artwork was vivid, all golds and pinks, but it was the space between the figures, close yet not touching, that made her chest tighten. Lena's words echoed in her head. That's us. Or what I wished we could have been. She turned to face Lena, who stood a few feet away, her hands shoved deep into her pockets. The gallery was empty, the silence heavy, broken only by the faint hum of a heater in the corner. Lena's eyes were wide, vulnerable, like she was waiting for Anna to run or lash out. Part of Anna wanted to. The other part, the part that felt the weight of the sketchbook, the hospital visits, the tear in Lena's voice, kept her rooted. Why didn't you say anything back then? Anna asked, her voice low, almost swallowed by the room. If you felt something, why make my life hell instead? Her hands trembled, and she clenched them to hide it. The memory of high school stung. Lena's smirks, the whispers, the way Anna had learned to shrink herself to avoid notice. Lena's breath hitched, a small shaky sound. I was terrified, she said, her voice raw. My parents, they were strict, religious. I saw what happened to you when people found out you liked girls. I saw how they tore you apart and She stopped, swallowing hard, her eyes glistening. I thought if I joined them, if I was cruel, no one would suspect me. I'd be safe. But I wasn't. I hated myself every day for it. Anna's throat burned. She wanted to scream, to tell Lena that her fear didn't justify the pain. But the honesty in Lena's voice stopped her. It was messy, ugly, real. You could have stopped, Anna said, her voice cracking. You could have just left me alone. I know, Lena whispered, stepping closer, her boots scuffing the hardwood floor. I was a coward. But when I heard about your accident, her voice broke, and she pressed a hand to her mouth, tears spilling over. I thought I'd lost you before I could make it right. The words landed like a stone in Anna's chest. She turned back to the painting, her vision blurring. The gallery felt too small, the air too thick. She could smell Lena's lavender perfume again. Faint but close, stirring memories she didn't want to face. I don't know how to trust you, Anna said finally, her voice barely audible. I don't know if I can. Lena nodded, her expression pained but resolute. I don't expect you to. Not yet. But I'm here, Anna. I'll keep being here until you tell me to stop. Anna left the gallery without another word, the autumn wind biting at her face as she stepped outside. Her heart was a storm, anger, hurt, and something softer she couldn't name. She walked aimlessly, the crunch of leaves under her boots grounding her. Willow Creek felt both familiar and foreign, its quiet streets a canvas of her past and present colliding. That night she sat on her couch, the sketchbook open again. She traced the lines of Lena's drawings, each one a piece of a story she didn't fully understand. There was a sketch of her old high school locker, dented and faded, with a single daisy tucked into the vent. Anna's breath caught. She remembered that daisy, found one morning senior year, but she'd thought it was a prank. Now she wasn't so sure. The next day, Anna went back to work. The ambulance station smelled of diesel and coffee, a comfort that steadied her. Her partner, Mike, clapped her on the shoulder, his grin wide. "Good to have you back, hero," he said, but his eyes lingered, like he could see the weight she carried. The calls were relentless: heart attacks, car wrecks, a kid with a broken arm. But the chaos was familiar, a rhythm she could lose herself in. Between calls, Anna's mind drifted to Lena. She hated how often it happened, how Lena's voice, her tears, her paintings kept creeping in. On a quiet shift, she pulled out her phone and typed a reply to Lena's text. "Meet me at the hill. Tomorrow. Sunrise." She hit send before she could overthink it, her heart pounding like it did before a high-stakes call. The hill overlooked Willow Creek, a place Anna used to escape to as a teen, where the world felt bigger than the town's judgment. She arrived just as the sky began to lighten, the air cool and heavy with dew. Lena was already there, sitting on a blanket, a thermos of coffee beside her. She looked up, startled, her face softening when she saw Anna. "You came," Lena said, her voice a mix of hope and disbelief. Anna nodded, sitting a few feet away, the grass damp under her jeans. The silence stretched, but it wasn't uncomfortable. The sunrise painted the sky in streaks of fire, and for a moment, Anna felt like they were the only two people in the world. "I don't forgive you," Anna said finally, her voice steady but soft. "Not yet. But I want to understand." Lena's eyes shimmered and she nodded, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. They sat there watching the sun rise, the space between them smaller than it had ever been. The hill was quiet, save for the rustle of leaves and the distant hum of Willow Creek waking up below. Anna sat cross-legged on the damp grass, her leather jacket creaking as she shifted. Lena was close enough that Anna could smell her lavender perfume, faint but unmistakable, mingling with the earthy scent of morning dew. The thermos of coffee sat untouched between them, steam curling into the cool air. The sunrise burned brighter now, casting long shadows that stretched like fingers across the hill. Anna's words hung in the air. "I want to understand." She hadn't planned to say them, hadn't planned to be here at all, but something about Lena's quiet presence, her unguarded hope, had pulled her to this moment. Lena's hands fidgeted in her lap, her nails chipped with paint, and Anna noticed the way her breath hitched, like she was bracing for rejection. "I don't know where to start," Lena said, her voice soft, almost lost in the breeze. She looked out at the horizon where the sky bled orange. "I've spent years trying to figure out how to apologize for something that changed who you are." Her eyes flicked to Anna, searching, pleading. "I see it in you, Anna. The way you hold yourself like you're always ready to run." Anna's chest tightened. She wanted to deny it, to say Lena was wrong, but the truth stung. High school had taught her to armor herself, to expect cruelty behind every smile. She looked away, her gaze landing on a lone dandelion poking through the grass, its fragility a stark contrast to the storm inside her. "You don't get to know me now," she said, her voice low but sharp. "Not after what you did." Lena nodded, her lips trembling. "I know, but I want to try. Not to fix it, I can't. Just to be honest." She reached into her bag, pulling out a small worn journal. "This was mine from senior year. I wrote about you. Things I never said." She held it out, her hand shaking. "You don't have to read it. But it's yours if you want it." Anna stared at the journal, its leather cover cracked and faded. Part of her wanted to throw it back, to tell Lena to keep her confessions. But her hand moved before her mind could stop it, taking the journal, its weight heavy in her palm. She didn't open it, just tucked it into her jacket. "I'll think about it," she said, her voice gruff, hiding the tremor beneath. They sat in silence, the sunrise now a blaze of gold. Anna's mind churned, memories of high school clashing with the woman beside her. Lena wasn't the cruel girl anymore, but she wasn't a stranger either. She was something in between, a puzzle Anna wasn't sure she wanted to solve. Back at the ambulance station, the day was a blur of sirens and adrenaline. Anna threw herself into work, checking vitals, bandaging wounds, her hands steady even as her heart wasn't. Mike noticed her quiet, his usual banter replaced with a gentle, "You okay, kid?" Anna nodded, forcing a smile, but the journal burned a hole in her locker, its presence louder than any call. That night, alone in her apartment, Anna opened the journal. Lena's handwriting was messy, urgent, the words spilling across the pages like a flood. "I saw Anna today, laughing with her sister by the bleachers. She doesn't know I watch her, doesn't know I'm jealous of how free she seems. I want to talk to her but I'm too scared, so I stay mean instead." Anna's throat closed, her fingers tracing the words. Page after page, Lena's fear, her longing, her shame poured out. "I told everyone she was weird, but I'm the one who's wrong. I like her. God, I like her so much." Anna slammed the journal shut, her breath ragged. The room felt too small, the air too thick. She paced, the floorboards creaking under her boots, her heart a war of anger and empathy. Lena had been a kid, just like her, trapped in a town that didn't forgive difference. But understanding didn't erase the pain. It just made it heavier. The next morning, Anna found Lena at the diner, sketching in a booth. The sight of her, head bent, pencil moving in quick, sure strokes, felt like a punch. Anna slid into the booth without a word, her heart pounding. Lena looked up, startled, her pencil freezing mid-stroke. "You read it," she said, not a question. Anna nodded, her voice stuck. She pulled the journal from her jacket and set it on the table, its weight a tether between them. Lena's breath caught, a small hopeful sound. She reached out, her hand hesitating, then rested it on the table, inches from Anna's. The diner's hum faded, and for a moment, it was just them, two women carrying the weight of their past, reaching for something new. The diner's fluorescent lights buzzed faintly, casting a soft glow over the booth where Anna and Lena sat. The air smelled of coffee and fried onions, a familiar comfort that grounded Anna even as her heart raced. Lena's hand rested on the table, close enough that Anna could feel its warmth, though they didn't touch. The journal lay between them, its pages a silent confession, heavy with the weight of years unspoken. Anna's throat felt tight, her words caught somewhere between anger and hope. "I don't know how to do this," she said, her voice low, almost drowned by the clink of dishes in the background. "I don't know how to look at you and not see the girl who made me hate myself." Her fingers twitched, itching to reach for Lena's hand, to ground herself, but she held back. Lena's eyes were soft, glistening with unshed tears. "I don't expect you to," she said, her voice trembling but steady. "I just want a chance to show you who I am now. Not the scared kid I was." She leaned forward, her curls falling over one shoulder, catching the light. "I've spent years running from that girl, Anna. I want to be better. For you. For me." Anna's chest ached, a mix of pain and something warmer, something dangerous. She looked at Lena, really looked, and saw the faint lines around her eyes, the way her hands shook slightly, the paint stains on her fingers. This wasn't the Lena of high school, all sharp edges and cruel laughter. This was someone new, someone who'd sat by her hospital bed, who'd poured her heart into sketches and journals. "Okay," Anna said finally, the words small but heavy, but slow. "I need time." Lena nodded, a small smile breaking through her tears, like sunlight through clouds. They sat there, the diner's noise fading into a hum, the space between their hands shrinking just a fraction. Over the next few weeks, Anna and Lena fell into a tentative rhythm. They met at the hill most mornings, watching the sunrise in near silence, the thermos of coffee a shared ritual. Anna brought her paramedic stories, gruff, funny tales of saving lives, while Lena shared bits of her art, her voice lighting up when she talked about color and light. Anna noticed the way Lena's laugh had softened, how it no longer cut but warmed, like a fire on a cold night. One morning, Lena brought a canvas to the hill, small enough to carry. "I painted this for you," she said, her voice shy. She turned it over, revealing a scene of their hill, the sunrise blazing, two figures sitting close, their outlines soft but distinct. Anna's breath caught. The painting wasn't just beautiful. It was them, raw and real. A moment captured in strokes of gold and blue. "It's us," Anna said, her voice barely a whisper. Lena nodded, her cheeks flushing. "I wanted you to see how I see you," she said. "Strong, steady, beautiful." Anna's heart stuttered, and for the first time she reached out, her fingers brushing Lena's. The touch was electric, fleeting, but it lingered in Anna's skin long after. Work kept Anna grounded, the chaos of the ambulance station, a counterpoint to the quiet moments with Lena. But even there, Lena crept into her thoughts. During a long shift, Mike caught her staring at her phone, Lena's name on the screen. "Someone special?" he teased, his grin wide. Anna rolled her eyes but didn't deny it, her cheeks warm. One night, Lena invited Anna to the gallery for a private showing. The space was lit with fairy lights, the air warm with the scent of cedar and wine. Lena's new exhibit was unveiled. Paintings of Willow Creek, of moments small and large, each one vibrant with emotion. The centerpiece was the hill painting, now framed, its colors even more vivid under the lights. Anna stood before it, her throat tight, as Lena stepped beside her. "This is my truth," Lena said softly, her voice trembling. "You're in every brushstroke, Anna. You always have been." Anna turned, their eyes meeting, and the air shifted, charged with something neither could ignore. Lena's hand found hers, tentative, warm, and Anna didn't pull away. They stood there, hands clasped, the gallery quiet except for the soft hum of the lights. Anna's heart pounded, a mix of fear and want, but she didn't let go. "I'm scared," she admitted, her voice raw. "But I'm here." Lena's smile was small, hopeful, and for the first time, Anna felt the past loosening its grip just a little. As they left the gallery, the night air cool against their skin, Anna felt Lena's fingers tighten around hers. The stars above Willow Creek glittered, and for a moment, Anna let herself believe in something new, something that felt like home. The night air was sharp, carrying the scent of pine and distant wood smoke as Anna and Lena walked out of the gallery, hands still clasped. Willow Creek streets were quiet, the only sound the soft crunch of gravel under their boots and the occasional hum of a passing car. Anna's heart hadn't stopped racing since Lena's hand found hers, the warmth of it both grounding and terrifying. She stole a glance at Lena, whose face was lit by the soft glow of streetlights, her curls catching the breeze. There was a softness in her expression, a hope that made Anna's chest ache. They stopped at the edge of town, near the old oak tree where kids carved their initials, its bark rough and worn. Lena leaned against it, her hand still in Anna's, her thumb brushing lightly over Anna's knuckles. "I didn't think you'd come tonight," Lena said, her voice low, almost swallowed by the night. "I thought you'd run." Anna's laugh was short, shaky. "I almost did." She looked down at their joined hands, her callous fingers against Lena's paint-stained ones. "I'm still not sure what I'm doing here." The honesty felt raw, like peeling back a bandage, but Lena's eyes didn't waver, steady and warm. "You're here because you're brave," Lena said, her voice firm. "Braver than I ever was." She stepped closer, the space between them shrinking, the air charged with the scent of her lavender perfume and the crispness of fall. Anna's breath caught, her mind flashing to high school, to the pain, but also to the journal, the paintings, the woman Lena had become. "I don't know how to trust this," Anna admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I want to." Lena's smile was small, trembling, and she leaned in, her forehead resting against Anna's. The touch was soft, intimate, and Anna felt her walls crumble just a little. They started spending more time together, small moments weaving into something bigger. Coffee at the diner, walks through the park, late-night talks on Anna's porch, the creak of the swing a steady rhythm beneath their words. Lena shared stories of her art, of moving to the city and back, of finding herself through color and canvas. Anna talked about the ambulance, the lives she'd saved, the ones she couldn't. Each conversation chipped away at the past, building something fragile but real. One evening, Lena invited Anna to her studio, a small loft above the gallery. The space was chaotic. Canvases stacked against walls, paint cans scattered, the air thick with turpentine and creativity. Lena was nervous, her hands fluttering as she showed Anna a half-finished painting, a swirl of blues and grays. "It's not done," she said, almost apologetic. "It's how I feel when I'm with you." Anna stared at the canvas, the colors alive, moving like a storm and a calm all at once. She turned to Lena, her heart pounding. "It's beautiful," she said, and meant more than the painting. Lena's eyes softened, and before Anna could think, she closed the distance, her lips brushing Lena's in a kiss that was tentative, then sure. It tasted of coffee and paint, of fear and hope, and when they pulled back, Anna's breath was shaky, her smile real. The kiss changed things. They were cautious, still learning each other, but the connection grew stronger, like a pulse beneath the surface. Anna started noticing the little things. Lena's laugh when she burned toast, the way she hummed off-key while painting, how she always left a sketch for Anna to find, tucked into her jacket or bag. Each one was a promise, a piece of Lena's heart. But the past wasn't gone. One night at a town fair, Anna overheard whispers, old classmates, their voices dripping with judgment. Anna and Lena? Didn't she used to hate her? The word stung, dragging Anna back to high school, to the laughter and shame. She froze, her hand tightening around Lena's, who noticed and pulled her aside, her eyes fierce. "Don't listen to them," Lena said, her voice low but steady. "They don't know us. Not then, not now." She cupped Anna's face, her thumbs brushing away the tension. "I'm here, Anna. I'm not running." Anna nodded, her throat tight, and let Lena pull her into a dance under the fair's twinkling lights, the world fading to just them. Weeks turned to months, and Anna felt herself softening, her anger fading like a bruise. Lena was there through late shifts, bringing coffee to the station, through nightmares of the crash, holding Anna until the shaking stopped. One morning on their hill, Anna looked at Lena, the sunrise painting her face in gold, and said, "I think I'm falling for you." Lena's smile was brighter than the dawn, and she kissed Anna, soft and sure, the world quiet except for their beating hearts. The hill was their sanctuary now, a place where the world's noise faded, leaving only the rustle of leaves and the soft glow of dawn. Anna sat beside Lena, their shoulders brushing, the thermos of coffee steaming between them. The air was crisp, tinged with the scent of frost and pine, and Anna's breath caught as Lena's hand found hers, their fingers intertwining like they'd done it 1,000 times. It had been months since the kiss in Lena's studio, and each day felt like a step towards something Anna hadn't dared dream of. "I never thought I'd be here," Anna said, her voice soft, almost lost in the morning's quiet. "With you." She glanced at Lena, whose curls were tucked into a loose scarf, her eyes reflecting the sunrise's fire. Lena's smile was small, warm, and it stirred something deep in Anna's chest. A mix of joy and fear, like standing on the edge of a cliff. "I didn't either," Lena admitted, her thumb tracing circles on Anna's hand. "I thought I'd spend my life making up for the past, not building something new." Her voice trembled and she looked down, her lashes casting shadows on her cheeks. "You make me want to be better, Anna." Anna's heart thudded, the words sinking in. She leaned closer, her forehead resting against Lena's, their breaths mingling in the cool air. "You already are," she whispered, and meant it. The anger that once defined her was quieter now, softened by Lena's presence, her honesty, the way she showed up every day, steady and real. Their life together grew in small, vivid moments. Lena painting in Anna's apartment, the floorboards creaking as she danced to old rock songs. Anna teaching Lena how to check a pulse, laughing when Lena's fingers fumbled, her touch lingering. Late nights at the diner, sharing fries and stories, the booth their own little world. But the past still lingered, a shadow that crept in during quiet moments. One evening Anna found an old yearbook in her closet, its pages yellowed, the memories sharp. She flipped to a photo of her and Lena at a school dance. Anna awkward in a borrowed dress, Lena radiant in the crowd, her smile hiding the fear she'd later confess. Anna's chest tightened, the hurt flaring, but it was softer now, less a wound than a scar. She closed the book, her fingers lingering on the cover, and called Lena. They met at the hill, the sky bruised with dusk. Anna held the yearbook, her voice steady but raw. "I found this," she said, opening to the photo. "It still hurts, Lena. Not like before, but it's there." Lena's eyes glistened and she took the yearbook, her fingers brushing Anna's. "I hate that I did that to you," she said, her voice breaking. "But I'm here now. I'll keep being here." Anna nodded, the weight of the past easing just a little. She took Lena's hand, pulling her close, and they stood there, the stars emerging above, the air cool against their skin. "I love you," Anna said, the words slipping out raw and true. Lena's breath caught and she kissed Anna deep and fierce, the world falling away. Months later Anna faced a new challenge, meeting Lena's parents. They'd moved to Willow Creek years ago. Their strict beliefs softened but still a wall between them and Lena's truth. The dinner was tense, the dining room heavy with the scent of roasted chicken and unspoken questions. Lena's mother, Diane, eyed Anna warily, her smile tight. "You're the paramedic," she said, her tone clipped. Anna nodded, her hand finding Lena's under the table, grounding her. Lena spoke up, her voice firm. "Anna's my partner," she said, the word carrying weight. Diane's eyes widened, but Lena didn't falter. "I love her. I hope you can see that." The silence was heavy, but Diane's expression softened, just a fraction, and Anna felt a spark of hope. Back at the hill the next morning, Anna and Lena sat closer than ever, their hands clasped, the sunrise painting the sky in hues of hope. "I'm proud of you," Anna said, her voice warm. Lena smiled, her eyes bright with tears. "I'm proud of us," she replied, and they kissed, the world theirs for that moment. As winter settled over Willow Creek, Anna and Lena grew stronger, their love a quiet rebellion against the past. Anna knew the road wasn't easy, scars lingered, and the town's whispers never fully stopped, but with Lena's hand in hers, she felt ready to face it all. Winter blanketed Willow Creek, the air sharp with frost, the hill dusted with snow that crunched under Anna and Lena's boots. They stood at their spot, the sunrise muted behind gray clouds, but the warmth between them burned brighter than ever. Anna's leather jacket was zipped tight, Lena's scarf loose around her neck, her curls peeking out. Their hands were clasped, fingers woven, a quiet promise in the cold. The thermos of coffee steamed, its bitter scent mixing with the crispness of the morning. A year had passed since Anna woke from the coma, since Lena's sketches and tears began unraveling the past. Their love had grown in the small moments, Lena's laughter in the diner, Anna's steady hand guiding Lena through a panic attack, the way they fit together on Anna's creaky porch swing. But it wasn't perfect. The town's whisper still stung, and Anna's scars, both the one on her temple and the ones inside, sometimes ached. Yet, with Lena, the pain felt bearable, like a weight they carried together. One evening in Lena's studio, the air thick with paint and possibility, Anna knelt on the hardwood floor, a small velvet box in her trembling hand. The fairy lights overhead cast a soft glow, catching the nervous spark in her eyes. Lena froze, her paintbrush dripping blue, her breath a sharp gasp. "Lena," Anna said, her voice raw, steady. "You broke me once, but you've spent every day since putting me back together. Marry me." Lena's eyes filled with tears, her laugh shaky as she dropped to her knees, pulling Anna into a kiss that tasted of salt and joy. "Yes," she whispered against Anna's lips, the word a vow. The ring, simple silver with a single sapphire, slid onto Lena's finger, and they held each other, the studio's chaos fading into their shared heartbeat. The wedding was small, held on their hill at sunrise. Clara stood by Anna, her eyes wet with pride, while Lena's parents, tentative but present, sat in the front row. The air smelled of dew and wildflowers, the sky ablaze with color. Anna wore a tailored suit, her hair swept back, while Lena's white dress flowed like a painting, her curls loose. They spoke their vows, voices trembling but sure, promising to carry each other's pasts and futures. When they kissed, the small crowd cheered, and Anna felt the world shift, like the final piece of a puzzle clicking into place. Their honeymoon was a road trip, the open highway stretching before them, the radio blasting old rock songs. They stopped at diners, laughed over burnt toast, and danced under starlit skies. In a quiet moment parked by a desert overlook, Lena sketched Anna, her pencil capturing the strength in her jaw, the softness in her eyes. "You're my home," Lena said, her voice barely audible over the wind. Anna kissed her, the sketchbook forgotten, their love louder than the world. Back in Willow Creek they built a life. Anna returned to the ambulance, her hands steady, her heart full. Lena's gallery thrived, her paintings telling stories of love and redemption. They faced the town's judgment together, hand in hand, their love a quiet defiance. One night, Anna found a new sketch in her jacket, a drawing of their wedding, the hill glowing, their figures intertwined. At the bottom, Lena's handwriting, "Forever starts here." The past wasn't gone. It lived in Anna's nightmares, in the occasional sting of a stranger's stare. But it was softer now, a shadow they'd learned to step around. Lena was her anchor, her fire, her reason to keep going. And Anna was Lena's, the steady hand that held her through doubt and fear. On their first anniversary, they stood on the hill again, the sunrise as vivid as the day they'd vowed to be each other's. Anna held Lena close, her breath warm against Lena's neck. "I was in a coma," Anna said, her voice soft, "and you woke me up." Lena smiled, tears in her eyes, and kissed her, "The world theirs alone." Their story wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, born from pain, forged in love, and sealed with a promise that carried them forward, one sunrise at a time.